watching News Channel 5 at 5.
Some local protests today centered around violence thousands of miles away. Israeli airstrikes of the Gaza Strip have left close to 400 people dead. Here in Nashville, protesters on both sides of the issue staged two separate events to get their message out. Here's News Channel 5's Scott Arnold.
On Legislative Plaza, we heard from one group. About a block away at the foot of Capitol Hill, there's another with a much different voice. Both groups logistically close, but so far away when it comes to their views on the Mideast conflict.
Israelis have experienced missile after missile after missile being lobbed on Israelis on a daily basis.
But there have been reports innocent women and children have died in those attacks. That's brought criticism. Israel has gone too far.
That is not true. Israel has shown restraint for years now, over and over and over, and not attacking them.
This group from the Islamic Center of Nashville have a different view. Many have ties to the Gaza Strip. No doubt these two groups will continue to disagree as an age-old conflict continues half a world away. In Nashville, Scott Arnold, News Channel 5 HD.
Well, the new year has brought more bloodshed to the Middle East. The battle between Israel and Hamas just entered its fifth day, and now local Jewish and Muslim leaders are speaking out. Today, a world away from the actual fighting, the groups held dueling rallies within blocks of one another.
We want justice, we want peace.
And here, on the other side of the globe, the debate over who's responsible for starting this fight is in full swing. On the other side of the Capitol, rabbis representing the Jewish community say Israel is merely fighting back after years of terrorist attacks staged by the Gaza's reigning Hamas.
Israel has incurred a barrage of rockets for the past 3 years and has virtually done nothing. And for the first time, they're standing up to defend themselves, and it's called a massacre.
Despite their opposing views, one thing local Jewish and Muslim people can agree on is that the fighting on both sides should stop.
The trouble is when outbursts like this happen, it perpetuates the cycle of violence and hate. If you're not killed, you know someone who's been killed or you're burned, and that just makes it go on for generation after generation.
Israel has vowed that a ground attack is next if the Hamas bombings don't stop.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. Fox 17 News at 9.
That fighting half a world away is stirring emotions here in our area tonight. Muslims and Jews are protesting the violence, placing blame, and calling for an end to the bloodshed. Fox 17's Justin McFarland has more.
No justice, no peace.
More than 200 Middle Tennessee Muslims spent much of their day protesting at the bottom of Capitol Hill. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Capitol,
they just want Jews dead.
A quieter and much smaller counter-protest took place to express the Israeli point of view.
The other side is committed to the destruction of the state of Israel. Those rockets stop, there'll be truce, hopefully someday peace.
But right now, they even disagree on who's dying.
As we're speaking, there are over than 380 people killed and over than 1,800 that were injured. The vast majority of them are women, children, and non-combatant Palestinian individuals.
390 people have been killed. The overwhelming majority of the people who have been killed are militants. It doesn't mean that innocent civilians haven't died, and that's a tragedy. But what's the alternative?
We agree to disagree, and I think that's what's happening today.
Philip Rice is the rabbi of Congregation Micah in Brentwood. He said despite today's protests, the Israeli and Palestinian communities in Nashville have a great relationship. But he also says when the fighting flares up in the Middle East, it shows how far they still have to go.
There is a land fight, and there's such deep-seated of hatred that goes on and gets perpetuated by violence like we're seeing today. The story of the Jewish people is thousands of years old, and so I believe it'll last for thousands of years more, and I believe peace can be obtained. There have been several times in history when Arabs and Jews have lived side by side and lived and grown from each culture, as we do here in Nashville.
Justin McFarland, Fox 17 News.
Thank you, Lori, for putting this morning together. This wouldn't have happened without the persistence of Lori Moore standing behind the Jewish community and the people of Israel. So we owe a big round of applause for Lori Moore. Let's hear it for Lori.